How's it going, everybody? Thank you all very much. I always appreciate you watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. In continuation with our celebration of Black History Month, talking about black-led films all month long, right now I'm talking about a blaxploitation movie from 1972, a classic directed by Gordon Parks Jr., the son of Director Gordon Parks, who directed Shaft. Right now, I'm talking about Superfly. Superfly stars the late Ron O'Neal in the main role of Youngblood Priest. Ron O'Neal is an actor that appeared in movies like The Final Countdown. He was also in The Master Gunfighter. He also appears in a movie called Brothers, and he was also the main bad guy in the original 1984 Red Dawn. And here he does a very good job as the lead actor. Our main character, Priest, is always super cool, super tough. He's a real ladies' man. He knows how to dress to impress, has a real eye for fashion. His hair always looks perfect, always immaculately combed, and he also has some karate skills. There's a scene where we see him training with another guy who shows him how to do some karate, and he is a guy that's also trying very hard to get out of the dope game. He's tired of the life. He's also a pimp, and he seems like he's just exhausted with the entire lifestyle. And the plan that Priest has is for him and his partner Eddie to gather about 300 grand together that they've been saving so that they can use that to buy that much worth in cocaine, and over the span of 4 months try and flip that into a cool mill and then get out the game after that. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as all that, and things always get complicated, of course. And so, when you're dealing with all kinds of shady types and crooked cops that want in on the deal, it makes it very hard for Priest to go straight and get out of the game altogether. And so, yeah, it's a very, very cool movie with a lot of style. You have a very cool, fun, and funky soundtrack from Curtis Mayfield. You even see Curtis Mayfield and his band at one point on stage doing one of their classic songs. And yeah, some great, great music all throughout this movie. You hear all the best classics from Curtis Mayfield in this movie that we've all heard since then in other movies. Songs like Pusher Man, Freddy's Dead, Little Child Running Wild. With this movie being an early 70s blaxploitation flick that's set in Harlem, the movie has a realistic, gritty feel to it in terms of the style and the cinematography done by James Signorelli, who went on to do the film segments for Saturday Night Live when Saturday Night Live went on the air in 1975. And of course, being a movie of the exploitation era, the movie doesn't skimp out on blood or violence or, of course, sex and nudity, which is all a part of exploitation movies of this era. There are a couple of very adult scenes in this movie. The movie opens with our main character in bed with a naked lady, as he's naked himself, and obviously they just got done doing the deed, and so the guy is a pimp, and so he's gonna have more than one lady in his stable, but he has like his main lady, Georgia, and in the midpoint of the movie they have a pretty revealing sex scene that feels kind of borderline pornographic at times in the way it was shot and the way it lingers on close-ups of the body. It is a hot tub scene. Whenever they do hot tub scenes in movies, you always think to yourself, and in real life, it's not all that easy. It doesn't always work out so easily, depending on, I guess, the size of the tub. But whenever they do it in movies, it always looks super hot. And it does in this movie, too, I gotta say. Even though the movie is about a pimp and a hustler, and at times it might feel like the movie is trying to glorify the lifestyle of a pimp, there are moments in the film where you see him just sitting down being quiet, and you can kind of see the guy thinking. You can see the wheels turning in his head, and you can tell that there's a lot more to this character, and that the pimp thing is kind of a facade, or this guy that's just really trying to get through life. And it's a very, very subtle performance at times in those quiet moments from Ron O'Neal. At times there is a bit of violence in the movie, but nothing too gruesome. The violence in the movie isn't there for no reason. Whenever something happens, it's usually there to kind of further the plot. And when there is moments of like action scenes, it feels a bit stylized in the way that they use slow motion, which is pretty effective, but more for dramatic effect in those moments. But yeah, the movie is a very well-made blaxploitation 1970s film because our main character's motivation in this movie is to get out of the life of a pimp and out of the life of a drug dealer. The movie does have a positive message, but overall it never loses its goal to entertain, to be a very fun, highly stylized flick with a lot of flair, great soundtrack, some very good performances. There are a few familiar faces in there for those of you that are familiar with 1970s cinema. You got Julius Harris in there as Scatter, who also was a Bond villain in Live and Let Die from 1973, and also appears in Black Caesar and Hell Up in Harlem. At 95 minutes long, the movie is also very well paced, has a nice flow about it. Things move along pretty briskly, and overall it's a pretty satisfying and Very funky, fun time, and a good experience. I highly recommend you check this out. From 1972, Superfly. I know there's a remake of this movie. I haven't seen it yet, but maybe I'll check it out one day. There's also a sequel to this movie, Superfly TNT, that stars Ron O'Neal once again in the main role, and I believe he directed that sequel. But yeah, nothing like the original, nothing like the classics. 1972's Superfly. I give it 4 stars. I'm sure you can find this movie on streaming, but you guys that know me know I'm a hard copy kind of guy, so I'm gonna have my copy right here, and there it is, my DVD copy of the film. And of course, they gotta include a pimp mobile right there behind them with a super fine looking sexy lady leaning on the windshield there behind them. But yeah, check this out if you haven't seen it. If you're looking for a good time, you can't go wrong with 1972's Superfly, a bona fide classic of the 70s. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I always appreciate it. If you're into the classics, if you're into movies, if you're into this kind of thing, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications on more movie reviews coming out very soon. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for your support and reviews. I always appreciate it. Please don't forget to comment, share, like, always helps out the channel. Everybody take care of each other. Peace out. Till next time, God bless.